Welcome to the village.
I think the other thing to a lot of parents, like, what can I do? What can I give them? Is always advise them, take Tylenol, not ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Ibuprofen's a blood thinner, and if they have a more serious injury that we can't tell at this moment because none of us have x-ray vision,
Right.
is ibuprofen is going to exacerbate.
I agree. Like we said, concussions are symptom management. Like it's
Right.
rest and symptom management. They're nauseous, some Zofran.
Right.
Anti-nausea, Tylenol for a headache. Sometimes they can't sleep as well, right?
Right.
You know, people like to do melatonin. There's very few times melatonin is okay or would actually work. And I think concussion, the inability to sleep because of some kind of chemical imbalance, melatonin is acceptable.
And a lot of times, because I do know a lot about concussions, I tell the parents, if you would like to, you're more than welcome to take them to the ER if it makes you feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always necessary.
They're not going to do anything more. They're not going to do a CAT scan.
No.
There's very few reasons you would do a CAT scan.
Right.
If you didn't lose consciousness, if you're not vomiting, if there was no seizures, you wouldn't do a CAT scan. That's 1,000 x-rays. You're not going to scan a brain and put them at risk.
Especially if their pupils are, equal and reactive and, there's no loss of function in one arm, no loss of sensation. I advise the parents, just take them home, let them rest, follow up with your primary care in the next couple days. We'll do an impact test, and I'll keep an eye on them. The thing I do when I'm doing the whole return to play, again, we go with education, not just with parents and kids, but providers as well. And I learned this from my college advisor's husband, who used to be an athletic trainer at Hudson Valley. He would go in and educate different docs and say, when you write that note for clearance, don't tell them that they're cleared. Because once the parent hears they're cleared, once the athlete hears they're cleared, that's it. They're done. They don't want to do that return to play.
Right.
So I advise a lot of the doctors that I work with to word it in a way that it says, this athlete was seen in my office. They are now cleared to start return to play.
Yeah.
Because then you don't get that pushback and that fight from the parents or guardians. And one of the things I do here at the high school is I send home a packet every sports season. So if they play 3 sports, they get it 3 times. But I make them sign a piece of paper that says that they've read this packet. They understand concussion return to play. They understand that they will have to go through the return to play if they're diagnosed with a concussion. And if they go to the doctor, we need to know.
It's good to know that ahead of time. It's good for everyone to be on the same page and explain to the parents. Like when they come to me, I talk about this. A lot of times I'll give them a copy of what that return to play looks like.
Right.
And I'll say in a graded fashion, because then I turn it over to you.
Right.
Now, Carla, whoever the trainer is at that school district, is going to determine this return to play with you.
Right.
So I'm not the know-all, decide-all. I'm seeing you today. Now you're ready to start something that's going to happen in the school.
Right.
It's going to take however long it takes.
Right. We tell them it's going to take at least 5 days to complete it.
Yeah. Because, every time this is a return to play, you probably have this memorized. But
Yep. I mean, I have some over on my desk where it breaks it down by each sport. So what you could do for each sport. A general return to play is day one is low-level impact activities. So day one is usually put them on the stationary bike, or if their practice is outside, they'll walk around the field, walk around the track. I'm a big proponent of do everything you can with your team. I mean, I watch them and I'm with them, but I want them to be a part of their team and not feel like, they're on this island by themselves.
Right, because that's the psychosocial aspect.
Right. So day one, like I said, either stationary bike or walking. If it's a stationary bike, they're either in here with me or we're in the weight room, so they're surrounded by their peers.
Yeah.
The step 2 is we bump it up a little bit, so it's either the elliptical or running. Jog, 10 to 15 minutes, get the blood flowing. Day 3, usually I combine some cardio with some weightlifting. So we'll go in the weight room, they'll do all the machines, 2 sets of 10, and they write their weight down with the cardio. And we see, hey, now we're increasing the pressure. Is that going to bother you now? And then day 4 is non-contact skills. So this is where we kind of let them go back with their team and, we let them do anything that doesn't involve contact. So they'll do skills. So like lacrosse, I'll let them shoot and pass. Basketball, we'll do shooting, passing, dribbling. Football, they'll motion through the drills, handoffs, throwing, just going through the motions. And then day 5 is their full contact. Again, everybody thinks, well, it's day 5. It's game day. I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I have to remind them that no, day 5 has to occur in a practice setting.
Right.
To make sure that we're not putting them back in a game.
You have to make sure you get through each of those days without any symptoms.
Right. It's easier in most sports. Football's the worst to have to do that because they only play once a week.
Oh, that's the most aggressive sport. I mean, that's where you are going to get shaken up.
Right. I remind them, would you rather miss one game or would you like to miss the rest of your life? And when you break it down like that to them, they say, all right, we'll miss the game.
And even saying missing the rest of the season, because kids think like, a few weeks at a time or a few months if you're lucky. Yeah, give them something to scare them. You got to scare kids.
Unfortunately you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I get, some kids who will tell me, like, when I first met you, you were scary. Yeah. And then they actually come in here and they meet me and, I work with them and they're like, you're really fun to be around. Yeah. And I was like, I'm a ball of fire.
Yeah, exactly. I am fun, but
you make fun of me, I'll make fun of you. And
gotta lay down the law to begin with, so you set that. Gotta set boundaries with kids. You gotta show them who's boss. Even whether you're the parent, no matter who it is, there needs to be a respect and a healthy fear.
Right. And, all the parents know that. And, they're very appreciative of everything I've done for their kids and their families. And I got families who... I got a family that's got 10 kids. I've worked with every kid in that family.
Yeah.
When you've gone from the oldest to the youngest, that's something special.
It is special. It is really nice. It's so nice to see these things. And that's why, we're here, we're talking, we're doing all this, we're educating because, again, we are part of that.
Right.
It is our responsibility. It's our job. And it's what we want to do. But we love everyone's kids. That's why, you don't have kids. I don't have kids. No. But that just goes to show we're caring about kids every day. So when we're telling you something, when we're telling the kids something or the parent something, it's coming from a place of actually caring. Everyone in society is responsible. Everything that you do, everything that you say, you are responsible for all of the children.
Right. I had a conversation today with one of my athletes, and it wasn't even anything injury related. It was kind of like a life lesson type thing. Mm-hmm. And we're having this conversation. And I pointed out all these things to this particular athlete. And they turned around, gave me that look. Mm-hmm. So I know you're right. I don't like that you're right, but I know you're right. I was mad a little bit, but at the end of the day, he still came in before he said goodbye and gave me a hug, said I love you, and walked out the door.
You know why that is, Carla? It's because kids, whether they really know it or they don't know it, but inside they need structure and rules because that is how they feel supported and loved. So they actually need that. Parents or whoever caregivers just trying to coddle the kid, that's actually adversely affecting the kid because all the kid's psyche, they need the structure so that they do feel that ground beneath them. And that's why you got that hug.
That particular individual, he comes from a great home. It's a special relationship we've kind of developed through shared experiences. Okay. And that's how I usually connect with the kids, through these shared experiences, to be like, okay, there might be an age difference between us, but I know exactly what you're going through.
Relatable.
Where we've come with a lot of these kids, and this is a special group, senior, junior class for me. Mm-hmm. The senior class is the first class that I ever saw come up from 7th grade. I've been there since they were in 7th grade.
Right.
The junior class, they're a special group too. Mm-hmm. A lot of them I coached. I used to coach softball, so I coached them. I've watched them grow up.
Like junior high or
like when they were real little.
Oh, okay.
We're talking 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, these shared experiences through life, that's important for them. And, a lot of times the parents will say to me, you talk to my kid. Because they ain't listening to me.
Yeah, you tell them. Listen, do you hear what she's saying?
Yeah. And so I'll just say the same thing that their parents are saying.
Right.
Usually I do with the one kid that always says, I love you and hugs me.
Aww.
He's just a great kid. And, I laugh because he goes, why you always gotta agree with my parents?
Yeah.
A lot of them will say, why are you agreeing with my parents?
Right.
I said, because they're right.
Right.
Again, I've been your age, you haven't been mine.
We're all on the same track. So I've been at your station. We all have different things we do in life, but we're all basically from the same cloth.
Right. Again, these past 2 years, I think have really hit home for our kids because A lot of them will come in here before they leave or they go to practice or after I tape them, and it's always a hug and an I love you. And I think that says a lot about our kids.
That says a lot about your relationship with them and the impact. It's really important.
It is. I know that's why I feel so connected to this area. I grew up here. Born and raised here.
In Amsterdam?
In Amsterdam. I
Nice.
graduated from Amsterdam High School.
Nice. And these halls are yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed. The building's changed, but the fundamentals and the principles that I learned haven't. And that's a big thing here. It, again, has always been family. Unfortunately, one of my high school teammates was one of the people to pass away in the limo accident.
Oh,
and was one of the first people who ever embraced me here at Amsterdam High School as I came from St. Mary's Institute. So I didn't know these kids, just was just lovable goofball and would always make you laugh. And I instill that in our kids now, like, be good teammates. Like, these are going to be your friends for the rest of your life. So when things go wrong, these are who the people you turn to. For me, I'm very invested in this school district because it means something to me. I'm from here. I'm a part of it. These kids are my neighbors. Their parents are my friends.
It is a special place because I didn't grow up near here at all, but I've been working here for, these kids as a community pediatrician for almost 8 years now. And it's a very, embrace you with open arms community. I've become a part of a lot of their lives, friends with a lot of the parents. It's a nice feeling, and you feel like part of it. There's something so special. There's the big academic hospitals. A lot of pediatricians will want jobs there for this and this reason. But this community feel for me is unbeatable. It's a beautiful feeling. You go to work and you see, the people you work with and the community, the kids that come in, and you know them. You just walk in the room. You don't have an introduction. You're just like, oh, what's my girl doing here? What's my boy doing here? What's going on today? Sort of thing. And this in particular, this area, very comforting. It's nice to be around. It's like in home.
It is. And, when things happen, we're all there for each other. I think that's the special part of it. For me, in this job, a lot of times I'm there with these kids on their best day, and I'm there with them on their worst days.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the field or in their life, they always know this is a safe space.
Yeah.
For me, I had a parent actually text me last night as I get appointed as the athletic trainer, the head athletic trainer at Amsterdam High School, which is always a dream come true to me. Mm-hmm. And the parent said to me, your kids fought for you, and they never gave up.
Yeah.
They stood behind me. They wrote the nicest letters.
Wow.
They said the nicest things. They're not comfortable public speakers.
Right.
But
I
they
was
did
gonna
it.
say, yeah.
And they talked about topics that I never thought they would talk about.
When you write, you're kind of imparting a piece of your soul that you may not otherwise say. I have some patients too who they won't tell me, but they'll write what's going on. And even if you or me were to write, writing is so different. So the fact that they did that for you and they've got all these emotions, and it's so nice to hear this from you because we're seeing so much of the negative and the anxieties and the bullying and all of these things. You're wondering what's happening to our kids, what's happening to our world. But to hear this, that gives me so much more hope that there's these kids with these emotions, this love. We need our kids to have love.
Yeah, they do. And, I tell them, I go, athletic training is more than tape and Band-Aids. Mm-hmm. It takes a special person to do this job. Mm-hmm. You have to have a personality.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to talk to kids.
Yeah.
If you can't talk to kids, this is not the job for you.
Yeah.
And I know there are athletic trainers out there that refuse to tape kids. With my kids, it's a little different. I'll tell them, if you don't really need to be taped, why don't we do some rehab first? It takes 5 minutes if they want to get their ankle taped. But I'll never tell a kid, no, I'm not going to tape you, because that 2 minutes that I'm taping them might be the most important 2 minutes of their day. And for me, that's everything, because I see these kids and they tell me stuff and it just breaks your heart sometimes. We've done so many different things with the different kids. I started getting them to journal. Some of them are drawing or listening to different music. And
it's therapy.
They'll send me songs and listen to this. So, okay, if you're going to send it to me, I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, what do you think of the music these days?
What I listen to and what they listen to are two very different things. But at the end of the day, we'll share songs.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to this rap music that I don't listen to. Yeah. But I know it's important to them. And I will know them better by the end of that song when they send it to me. And it means everything to them for me to listen to their songs.
It does.
And then I'll send them songs, whether it relates to me or I think it relates to their situation. I'll be like, "Did you listen to that song yet?" Maybe.
They find it boring because
right.
It's not music that they like. Because they're kids, they have short attention spans. But yeah, when you send something to someone, no matter who it is, if they listened, that means the world to that person.
Oh, absolutely. They just keep sending it. I'm like, all right, I'll listen to them.
They're sharing with you. You can learn so much with somebody through what they enjoy.
Right.
It's a big deal that you're doing that for them and that you have that relationship, because when you get out of bed in the morning, someone needs to make that kid feel like, I got this to look forward to, or that. You gotta be happy. And that's all of us. You can't wake up and just dread your whole day. You can't look forward to just coming back home, sitting on the couch. You need to be happy about something.
I walk in this building every day and, these kids make it worthwhile.
Right.
And to hear them say, like, you're part of the reason I come to school. Mm-hmm. Or you're part of the reason I come to practice. I mean, how can you not get emotional about that? I had another kid say, I just want you to be happy. Because, this whole job position creation here. And, I said to them, listen, I'm happy every day I walk in that school, whether it's for 2 hours or 8 hours. Yeah. Like, that makes my day, just being around them. Because they're a special group. I don't know how we got to this point. But they make you smile. They make you laugh. They make you cry. We do it together. They move you. Right. And then parents are great as well. And they become part of your family and you become part of their family. And, they lean on you as much as you lean on them. It's special. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can put a word to it other than it's special. And unless you're in this role, you can't describe it.
I think it's so great too that when your energy and your emotional energy goes towards something, that's going to gravitate towards you. So the fact that you've worked to this position that you're going to start. When do you start official?
July 1st.
Yeah, great time to start.
Yep.
Yeah, that's July 1st is always going to be enmeshed in my brain as residency day, like the first day.
Right.
That's what I always think of. Yep. But it wasn't a traumatizing day at all. But they started calling me Dr. Majid for the first time, and I was, oh me? Yeah, they're like, make decisions now. Right. But anyway, I'll talk about that sometime. It kind of gravitates to the fact that this is meant for you, and that just proves too, like, if something's meant for you, you deserve this job. This job needs you. It's a beautiful thing to see.
It is, and, I'm so excited for it. It's going to be different, but it's not going to be different. For 13 years, I have been ingrained here, but in a different aspect. The first 8 years of my career, I was split between here and Broad Alban Perth, and Mayfield and Northville, and all these other great schools in our community. Now I'm home. Like, I'm officially home.
It feels good. We didn't talk about this on the recording before. We kind of talked about it. So basically, you can tell what you've been doing and then a little bit about yourself. Like, because we're going to be talking to you moving forward several more times. Yeah. So what you just accomplished was you hired full-time as the athletic trainer for Amsterdam High School. Yep. Which, congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's what she's starting on July 1st. Yep. What have you been doing? Like, I know you from our hospital setting, but we also worked with some kids in the different high schools. Because what you've been doing is a little different than what you're about to do.
Started in 2009 as a per diem, so I would just cover events when needed. Yeah. My supervisor left in the spring of 2010 and said, hey, do you want a full-time job? Yeah. And I said, yeah, why not? And I guess I got really lucky when I found out one of her schools was Amsterdam, but the other one was Broad Alban. And at the time, we only had 5 schools we contracted with. So it was Amsterdam, Broad Alban, Gloversville, Johnstown, Mayfield, and Fulton Montgomery Community College. And over the past 13 years, it's grown immensely. I think it was 2012 was when I was promoted to supervisor of the athletic training program. We added Northville Central School. We added Fonda, Schenectady Community College, and the Mohawk. And then we added, full-time services. So we were at these schools every day. We were adding game coverage, and then we were adding staff. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of come full circle now where we've built these relationships with these school districts. Now we're full-time within the school district because our bigger school districts have seen the effect of having a full-time athletic trainer on board can do for them. It goes the typical well, it's going to save you money. Insurance costs are going to go down. Your liability is going to go down. You have a trained medical professional here after school. You know, you have the school nurse, but they're only here so long during the day. They're not here after school.
And they're not trained in, like, the athletic capacity.
No.
A nurse has their strong points. But, like, assessing athletes for athletic injuries is so different. It's something that, like, I've turned to you for. I've turned to my colleagues for. But we depend on that specialty. Like what we said is you're good at what you're good at. And you're good at what you see a lot of and specialize in.
I have a phenomenal relationship with our school nurses, both at the middle school and the high school, because we work so well together. It's a collaborative effort.
It is.
They have the things that they can do, and I have the things that I can do.
Yeah.
And we work together to make it work.
Yeah.
It's that total team effort.
When you're school-based, that type of relationship and specialty with kids and the things that happen with them, especially when it comes to sports, should not be undermined. Keep in mind, a lot of kids, the parents, if something's going on, they'll come to me. They'll come to their medical provider. And a lot of times, they actually need your expertise, but their first go-to, let me go to my doctor.
Right.
Which is fine, and we're there for everything.
Right.
But as a doctor, you have to know, I don't see them playing sport. I don't know what happened, and I don't know what's best to get them back to it. Then you turn to your trainers, and they go right back to where they came from, you know. And you guys do have the solutions. You can recognize injuries, and you recognize what needs to be done for them.
Yeah, we tell them all the time, you know, if you're really hurt, okay, let us know so we can point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, we tell them, like, every doctor has their specialty. Your primary care physician is there when you're sick.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily going to know the orthopedics behind it.
Right.
Where if we send you to an orthopedic,
yeah,
they know bones, they know muscles.
They know,
They're going to tell you, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
They never believe us.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of times I'll end up referring, or I'll turn to you guys and then you'll suggest something, but it really depends. I guess it's good to be like that central spot of, you know, where to go from there, but we won't always know where to go. Some insurances won't even cover an MRI that we ordered.
Right.
They'll cover it if the orthopedic surgeon orders it.
Right. And that's the crazy thing about insurance these days.
Yeah.
Where we save them that time and frustration and money by leading them in the right direction.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, you share text messages with some of the orthopedic surgeons because you talk to them so much because these are injuries.
Right.
It's different. Like if there's a kid and they did something a small kid would do, I can tell, okay, it's not a fracture, it's a sprain, that type of thing. But when you're dealing with an athlete and the little twists and turns and things that they do very specific, it's very specific.
It is, and, you know, trying to talk to some of these kids sometimes, it's like pulling teeth to get the answers. What did you do? I don't know. Okay, neither do I.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I tell kids. I'm like, well, you're the only one who knows right now. Your mother doesn't know, she wasn't there. I don't know, I certainly wasn't there. Right. So you got to tell me.
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh, it happened 2 weeks ago. Oh, and I'll be like, oh,
2 weeks or 6 weeks, not sure.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
You know, I had a kid come in yesterday. It was like end of practice right before I'm leaving to go to our lacrosse game. He walks in and he says, hey, coach sent me in to check out my back. It's been hurt for 2 weeks and I went to the doctor. And I kind of just looked at him. I said, so why am I seeing you now?
Right.
This is something you should have addressed with us 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And probably something you also should have addressed at the beginning of practice, not the end of practice.
Timing is beautiful.
And it was an upperclassman.
Yeah.
And, you know, I finished up the evaluation I was doing on another athlete, and I said to him, I said, you understand why I'm frustrated with you?
Right.
He said, I completely understand why.
Well, that's a good sign.
He goes, I understand your point of view.
Oh.
So,
nice.
You know, that helps. You know, you gotta love him.
Yeah.
You gotta love him.
That's just it. Like, you'll never turn your back on him or turn away, or you'll always be there. That's why, like, kids are special. Pediatrics is special for me in that way because you're never going to say no. Like, some of the parents, they frustrate you because the symptom, like a cough, has been going on for a month, and 4 p.m. on a Friday is when they call about it. I don't want a parent to worry longer than necessary. Right. I don't want a kid to suffer longer than necessary. These are 2 people you're dealing with. Right. So you'll do whatever it takes to help.
Oh, I mean, I field phone calls hours of the night, emails. Yeah. I've shown up to people's houses. They've shown up to mine. Yeah. I've come here on a Sunday.
Because it's not a job, right?
It's not. I go back to that saying, find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And I feel like I don't work. I just get to have fun.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
And I get, people think, you're just watching sports.
Right.
It's a whole lot more than just watching sports.
No. And I can tell you from the pediatrician standpoint, like, we depend on you guys. It really takes everyone. A doctor is not a know-all. I get that too, so I can kind of understand, because for the world, whenever you say you're a pediatrician, they're like, oh, like, yeah, it's cute.
Right.
But there's a lot that goes into a kid.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into everything about them, and it's stress in a different way.
Right.
I'm not stressed because I'm in an ICU, like intubating a 65-year-old who, whatever the case. Right. I'm stressed because of all these things we're talking about. And not like but it's a stress because you need to get that into their minds. You're part of the raising of children. You have to do it right. You have to.
And that's why I'm so fortunate I have so many great families that I get to work with, parents that I get to work with who, hey, what do you think? Or, hey, can you talk to my kid about this?
Yeah.
Or, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
How can you help? We roll with it.
Yeah.
And, do I have a lot of cool bells and whistles and shiny toys in here? I sure do. But sometimes you just got to pull it back and it's just conversation.
Yeah, like whatever this thing is.
The Game Ready ice compression machine.
Okay.
Yep. So, our kids are very fortunate here. They have the Game Ready ice compression machines. We have the Normatec boots. We have stim. We have ultrasounds.
I'm looking at all your pictures here, too. I'm sitting in Carla's office, which is a lot of training materials and tables and weight. Yeah, I'm just looking. It's
a lot of tape. I just recently started putting up the pictures of all these kids I've helped over the years. And now the athletes are like, well, when am I going to get my picture up there? I go, when we take a picture.
Yeah, let's take a picture.
So now they wanna be up there. And
everyone's smiling and everyone's doing their team.
A lot of them are senior night pictures. Kids I've coached that have graduated. Kids I've helped. Graduation invitations I put up there that they give me, and just to be a part of their lives.
It is nice. It's a nice feeling. It is. So working with kids in any way, shape, or form is a great thing. It's like a nice challenge. It's a worthwhile challenge.
It is. There's days you just want to bang your head off the wall because they're not listening.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, you just smile and shake your head.
Right.
All right, we'll get back at it tomorrow. And
right. Yeah.
They eventually tell you you're right.
Yeah.
And I laugh because all the kids are like, Carla's right. She's always right.
Right.
I tell them, so I'm not always right. So I'm right a majorry of the time. I'm not always right. But if you guys think that.
Yeah, exactly. It's always rewarding.
It is. I love working with this population. And I've been told I should go work at the college level. I could be in the professional level.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of high school is beneath me. And I don't feel that way. I want to be here at the high school because there's so many good things that happen here. And to be able to mold them and inspire them and, be a part of their life at the most crucial time of their development.
Exactly.
I feel is important. And I don't want to go to the collegiate level or the professional level where my job is dependent on who's playing and who's not playing and wins and losses and number of injuries.
Yeah. There's something to be said about being there at a crucial point because that's when the molding happens, the teaching, the education, the awareness, and it's where you're happy and where you're needed here too. The high school kids need someone too.
And when we were talking, I was talking to this one athlete about getting appointed and, being permanently here. He said to me, he goes, I don't think you realize how many kids like you've inspired to do what you do or do something similar to you do. And I said, I'm aware. It's amazing. Like, don't think I take that lightly. Yeah. Like, I know I'm a role model for you guys. And, what I do, you guys do. And, I know the bar is set high to be a good role model for you guys. And we'll talk about life stuff, too. And, I'll be honest with them. And I think they like that.
Kids do need the honesty because they're smart.
They are.
They want to know the real deal. So someone who can relate and just be there. So it really comes down to who cares about them. And they feel like children know that. I always say children because this is interesting when kids about to turn 18 or go off to college and they want to know, are you still going to be my doctor? I'm like, absolutely. You're still a kid.
Yeah.
I don't care what. You may be allowed to vote, but you're still a child.
Right.
through the college years, through everything, because this is still development. You're still an adolescent. You're still a child. And you'll always be a child to me, but you're definitely a child into your 20s. And that's okay. That's when you're learning and growing, right. And you need, so many things are going to change. You need some support through that.
Right. And it's funny because I told a parent a couple weeks ago, I said, don't worry. I said, your kids will thank you when they're 22.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know why I wait that long. Yeah. I said, but that's when they're mature and they finally realize like, oh yeah, mom and dad were right all those years.
Oh yeah. I tell parents too that I tell these moms who are like, about to face that empty nest syndrome and all those that, right. Oh, they'll be back.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not really going anywhere. They're just doing something different. Let them fly. They're going to be back.
Right. Don't you worry, they'll come back.
Right, exactly. No, it's great to talk to you more and actually like get to know you a little bit more outside of just the talking about these kids and stuff. Right. But we have a lot more to talk about. This is just the beginning. Today we talked a lot about this important topic of concussion, which is so crucial. I'm really glad we started with that. And then we just talked about, the importance of who you are, what you do, and our community. We're just shedding some light on people here in our community and how well we all work together. Yeah, now that you guys got to know Carla a little bit, so we're going to talk about some injuries. We're going to talk about some of the mental health, some of the common injuries, and we have a lot to talk about. So this has been really great. Any last words for tonight that you want to share?
No, just thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and I enjoy talking about this profession and all the multifaceted things that we deal with.
Absolutely.
A lot more than tape and Band-Aids and water bottles.
Exactly. It's a lot more, and we're going to get to know about it. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.